Bring it on. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the September 26th BOCC meeting. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, gentlemen, first thing we have are our minutes. Do we have any additions or corrections? Okay.
I move to approve the proceedings for the Board of County Commissioners for Montezuma County for September 19th, 2023 as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the proceedings of the Board of Commissioners, Montezuma County, September 19th, 2023. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, next up we have planning.
Good morning.
Good
Morning.
morning.
So this morning we have the exemption plat and the exemption amendment document for signature for Merritt's that was approved last week. That's it.
Okay, that's it.
That's it.
Other than a public hearing at 9:10, all right, well.
Oh, sorry. You know, I was looking at back at how Miami beat Denver, you know. 70 points. That's the total amount of points the Jets score in a whole season.
I heard it was a horrible,
Oh.
it was like
I think that was the most points anybody scored in an NFL game.
70 to,
Since 65.
oh my gosh.
70 points. Ooh, ooh, ooh. The greeters from the local box store have got up a team. They think they can take the Broncos.
Probably can. Probably can.
CU didn't fare any better.
Huh?
Oregon beat the crap out of CU.
Oh, no kidding. Well, that's not good.
42
Because they were doing
or
pretty
something
good, yeah.
like that.
Okay, Don.
That's pretty much it. I guess one comment, there's an article in the Journal that addressed items in the county, but a lot of information in that article is not accurate. So there's no half acre for ADUs.
Yeah.
2019, we didn't address anything to do with Cortez doing anything in the county, any oversight. 1 mile zone of influence, and the 3 mile master streets plan is per state statute from 50 years ago, so that's not something new, not being reviewed. exercised or anything in the county, so. Just so the public knows, we don't need a bunch of comments and stuff addressing that if
Accuracy is
not accurate.
Accuracy in the journalism is not important anymore.
Right. So, I've had one phone call or one message on
Oh, there'll be more.
that information, but I'm sure you'll probably get more, and I don't know. I think everybody that's been paying attention and listening knows it's 3 mile or 3 acre minimum to subdivide, not anything to do with a 1 acre, quarter acre, half acre.
Correct.
That's all we have, unless you have something else.
What's, is it busy? Are we still busy, as far
Yeah,
as
we're still
planning? Is it
busy. There's
still looking steady?
going steady and a lot of phone calls. People still looking to do campgrounds and retreats and everything but subdividing.
Okay.
A lot of questions and a lot of people just shopping around the state, I guess. They're just calling random counties looking for water and fees and what they can or can't do. They don't even have a property in mind. They're just shopping, I guess. So that's kind of hard to let them know what they can do on a property that you don't know what it is, so,
Sure,
or where it is. So it's,
right.
but I'm sure that's going to continue for a little while longer.
Mhm.
Maybe one more big winter and we'll ease back on that.
Never know. Seems like a normal hard winter and changes everybody's attitudes and minds.
Yes, it does.
Can't control that either. Let's see, I still have 3 minutes, so I might jump around here a little bit. Do you guys want to go into unfinished business, the first one on the list there, or the second one, I'm sorry? It's not going to take very long for that.
Sure.
So we're going to jump around. We're going to go into unfinished business while we're waiting for our time for our public hearing. And it's a decision regarding the Pinnacle Assurance for our workman's comp proposal. We had in our workshop yesterday, a proposal from Mountain West Insurance, based here locally, or Durango, I call it locally. As we start shopping around for our insurances, for our cost, for the county. So this was proposed to us yesterday through Pinnacle Insurance. And basically, gentlemen, do you have any questions after reviewing your packets
No.
I don't.
last night? So
Oh.
then,
Yeah. I would so move we accept the proposal from Mountain West Insurance Financial Services for our workman's comp through Pinnacle Assurance.
Second.
it's been moved and seconded to accept the proposal from Mountain West Insurance for the county's workman's comp policy for 2024. Any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, well, with that, we're gonna go ahead and get ready for our 9:10 appointment. Mr. Smith, correct? Would you come on down? And I have 9:10, so would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Candelaria,
Here.
Commissioner Lindsay,
Here.
Commissioner Copenhaver,
Here.
Administrator Anderson,
Here.
Attorney McLaren.
Here.
The Montezuma County Board of County Commissioners will hold a public hearing on a proposition to create a local improvement district in Montezuma County, Colorado, to be known as Montezuma County Local Improvement District Number 2023-1, Upper Road 42, for the purpose of constructing, installing, completing, and acquiring certain local improvements, together with any necessary incidentals, and assessing the costs thereof against the property in the district.
Okay, with that, Mr. Smith, I'll give the floor to you.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, Commissioners. I would just like to make sure it's noted in the record that the notice of this hearing was duly published in the Journal, and also notice was mailed to every address in the proposed district. Beyond that, the association emailed notices to everybody, so just to make sure everybody was aware of this hearing this morning. What we're requesting this morning is for the commissioners to formally create the district, which will allow the district to move ahead with obtaining grants so they can complete the engineering, applying for loans and grants to finance the project. And once all those are completed, then they would come back to you with a final budget, a final assessment amount, and you would hold another hearing on whether or not to levy those assessments and move forward with the project. So this is just one step in the process, but it does allow the next steps, which are important to be able to finally determine that this is a viable project and can move ahead. The other thing we're asking in this resolution this morning is that you appoint Laura Rick as the district administrator. This will allow her to represent the district with state agencies that are processing grants and loans. We would also ask that you approve an election, a mail ballot election, which is required by statute, on November 7th. The association would take care of handling that mail ballot election, so it wouldn't be a burden on the clerk's office because they're already busy with other election issues. But it's a fairly small election and can be handled by mail ballot. So unless you have any specific questions, I would certainly yield and ask any of the property owners out there that might want to address the board to come forward.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Is Laura, if you want to come on down too, I recognize you walking in. Do you have anything else that you would like to add? Good morning.
This meeting is going to double as our public meeting as part of a requirement for a state loan. They approved that this would be okay for that. Just wanted to touch on the subjects that is required that we touch on for the state, and that was the project scope, alternatives, the preferred alternatives, environmental impact, any projected rate increases or how we're going to fund the project, and where our documentations can be found. All of these answers are in the preliminary engineering report, and that can be found in our files that we can send anyone if they just request that they send it, or that we send it to them. Explained, but I can go over that again if anybody needs a refresher. Anybody? Okay. Alternatives. We had several alternatives. One was to just place a water dock up near the water treatment plant for Mancos Rural Water. That did not accomplish what we were trying to do. The other alternative was to whether or not to place pump stations on the dam or below the dam. The preferred alternative was to place it above the dam. There are no environmental impacts foreseen. We did a preliminary environmental assessment, and none were found. However, as part of the state loan requirement, we have to do a full environmental impact, environmental assessment, and that's going to be done in October. Our engineer has contracted that out to an environmental firm in Durango. But again, we don't foresee any environmental impacts as far as endangered species or historical sites, endangered or endangerment to wetlands, nothing like that. We're aware of the funding source. It's going to be a loan through the state drinking water revolving fund, and the payment of the debt will be through these assessments for the district. And again, any relevant documentation can be requested through me, and it will be sent to whomever needs it. That's all I needed to cover.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right, thank you. Questions, Commissioners?
No.
Is that- Okay, well then, I will open this hearing up for public comment. Anybody wishing to speak for or against this application, please come forward to the podium. State your name and address for the record, and you may address the board at this time.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
My name's Fred Schroeder. Live at 42115 Road N.M.P, up above Mancus. And we've been there 32 years. We've hauled water for that time. We kind of thought maybe we'd be getting water sooner than this, but it's taken a while. I would like to say that the people that are involved with getting this done have put in an awful lot of time and hard work. And thank you for that. Thank you very much. Everybody involved is looking forward to the day when we can turn on a tap and not have to haul water. So we hope you can help us along with that. Thank you.
And I'm Linda Mount, I'm Fred's wife, and I'm really looking forward to it too. So, and just having to drive all the way to town to get water is impacting the environment, so we're hoping to help that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Seeing no further comment, I'll close the public comment section of this hearing and bring it back to the board. Gentlemen, do you have any other questions for Mr. Smith or
I
Ms.
do not.
Rick?
I don't either. I think this is a good thing. It'll take a lot of traffic off of that road and all in water and being a lot less impact to our roads and stuff up there. So, no, I think it's a good thing.
And I think we've all stated that, I think it was 50 people and 25 lots, if my memory serves me correctly.
We have 29 lots now, and yes, about 50 people or so.
So just one more way for availability of water to serve that community up there. And again, I'll thank you for your hard work too and efforts, because I think it's probably been a challenge and probably more to come. But you have to climb the ladder one rung at a time, and I guess this is climbing the ladder. So, all right, gentlemen.
I have nothing else. Sheryl?
Ian?
Yeah, nothing else at this point. We do have the resolution, the clerk has it, and so we would need to move that forward.
Okay. Do we have a number?
I think it's on the post-it on the 23. No. 21.
Okay, do you have it?
Yes, I got it. Sorry, got switched back.
There you go.
Resolution 21.
We need to put her What role do we need to?
We just need to
her
add
name?
that Laura Rick would be appointed as the administrator and that mail ballots for the election would be also included in this.
I move to approve resolution, resolution number 21, 2023, for Montezuma County, the creation of a local improvement district number 2023-1, Upper Road 42, authorizing an election by the owners of the property to be assessed for improvements in said district and additional procedures for developing final plans and funding for the district, and to appoint Laura Rick as the administrator, and to have a mail ballot election for the creation of this district.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept and sign resolution number 21, 2023, a resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Montezuma County, Colorado, creating a local improvement district within the county to be designated as Montezuma County Local Improvement District number 2023-1, the Upper Road 42, authorizing an election by the owners of the property to be assessed for the improvements in said district and additional procedures for developing final plans and funding for the district. Along with that, the appointment of Laura Rick as the administrator and a mail-in ballot election to be completed. Any further discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Congratulations,
Okay.
you guys.
Thank you. We hope to be back here fairly soon, but as you say, it's a process, and so this is another step forward.
Yeah.
We appreciate your support.
Look
Thank
forward
you
to this
all.
project beginning.
Thank you.
And I will close this public hearing. Okay, next we'll have our board public comment session. Board of County Commissioners welcomes you to this meeting. Persons speaking during the public comment will be limited to 3 minutes, so depending on the number of people wishing to speak, it may be reduced to allow all the members of the public the opportunity to address the board. When addressing the board, please state your name and address for the record prior to providing your comments, and comments to individual supervisors or staff are not permitted, and participants may not yield their time to other, and with that, the public comment session is open. Okay, seeing no public comment, I'll close the public comment session of this meeting, and we're gonna go right into our department reports. First off, we have social services, and we have Miss Kelly Hargraves, our director, here.
You're getting pretty regular at this, you know.
Good morning.
Good morning. We'll go ahead and take care of this first, and then I'll let
Yes.
you jump on your report.
Sounds great.
I would so move we approve the minutes from the meeting of September, what?
August 22nd.
Oh, okay, August 22nd. My mistake, I'm sorry. I thought these were September minutes. We're still in September. Anyway, and also the financials in the amount of $1,321,311.50.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the proceedings of the Board of Social Services for Tuesday, August 22nd, 2023, and also the payables for social services in the amount of $1,321,311.50. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Business keeps running as usual. Lori and I were able to go to the Financial Officers Association conference last week in Breckenridge. The focus of that is really for departments across the state to come in and talk about how we're managing those through the database that they use. So we got some updates there. We talked extensively about House Bill 22-1259, which is specific to Colorado Works, or better known as TANF. So there were some significant changes made back in 22, increasing the basic cash assistance. So TANF has kind of two parts. One's direct cash assistance for families that qualify, and then services to provide prevention services to meet the 4 pillars of TANF. So this year, starting in October, we have to increase the basic cash assistance by 10%, which is about $50 per household. And then over every year moving forward, we'll have to increase the basic cash assistance amount by 2%, or the average for what the Social Security Administration is doing, whichever one's greater, the 5-year average there. So it was good to talk about those ramifications long term. We know that the first 2 years of those increases will be funded through ARPA dollars, and then after that, the state as well as counties may have to tap into reserves. They made a ceiling for reserves moving forward. And so lots of shifts. I think we'll see more in 2026, 2027 as far as how that's going to shake out.
So I have a quick
Yeah.
question, because did I hear you correctly that it would then require the counties to tap into reserves?
Potentially. Depending on the amount of folks that are receiving basic cash assistance through TANF. Now, for bigger counties, I think that's quite substantial. When we look at Montezuma County, currently we have 29 folks receiving basic cash assistance through Colorado Works TANF. And so that ebbs and flows, but part of this bill, we also use that to provide contracted prevention services in our community. So my point is it's going to continue every year from here on out. We're going to see an increase in what we have to provide as far as basic cash assistance for families on that program. And across the state, it could impact reserves. Right now, you can maintain 40% of your allocation every year in reserves. And we typically don't tap into those. Reserves are important for a variety of reasons. If, for instance, our department is overspent in our child welfare allocation, we can use our TANF reserves to shore us up. In addition, if we're overspent in all of those things, the state can use those TANF reserves to help shore up Montezuma County. Does that make sense? So long term, it could be a substantial shift. Right now, ARPA funds are going to pay for all of those changes the first 2 years. But it could shift, and that legislation also reduced restrictions. So historically, if you had certain felonies, you could not qualify for TANF basic cash assistance. That's been removed. Sanctions have been reduced, so the highest sanction a family can get. And I'll go to this piece just in case you don't know what it is, but when you receive basic cash assistance, you must do certain things to gain employment. The design is, this is a support to help you achieve self-sufficiency. So you must engage in workforce activities for 32 hours a week. When a recipient is not doing that piece, they can be sanctioned. So have a reduction in the basic cash assistance they're receiving until they get into compliance with those TANF requirements. But they reduce those sanctions to $1. And so additional families will qualify potentially across the state. And so we could see some shifts, and I'm just putting it on the radar because I feel like it's important to monitor and watch as time goes on.
So, been hearing about increase in SNAP benefits also.
Yes. There was a cost of living increase to SNAP benefits, which they do annually, and that goes into effect October 1.
Okay.
I'll get with you because I have more questions,
Yeah. I'm just putting it on the radar.
for sure.
Otherwise, it was really great going to the conference. It was great meeting other finance folks, talking about how they're doing what they're doing. We spent a lot of time talking about the cost allocation pool, which is an interesting thing, and it really helped me understand some core pieces of like random moment sampling. So we have, if you, for instance, me, I work in multiple areas within the department. I don't need to track my time though in each program because I come from the cost allocation. So what they do is they call people throughout the day, a random sample, and say, hey, what are you doing? And so if I'm a caseworker in child welfare, I'd have to answer the phone, I'd have to tell them what I'm doing, and then I'd have to give them the code to what I'm doing. And so they do this across the state, and that helps us draw down funding from the federal government through 4E. And so pieces like that really helped clarify for me on why we're doing those things and what those things mean for our budget. We learned that there's Trails Legacy, so this version of Trails that's really old that we use, and Trails Mod. And it's the new version, but we've been working in both for over a decade. They finally moved all of the financial pieces into Trails Mod, which is exciting. We can pull better reports. So I'm excited for Lori and I to both begin using that. They say that they will have Trails Legacy completely moved over in 2 years. I don't buy that, but we'll see what they do. So that was really great. Our C-stats came out. I'm sure you guys saw those emails. They're still looking good. Our numbers did increase in the father engagement. We did make those corrections as I talked about. I wanted to follow up from our last meeting when you talked about and asked about the schools being a protective factor for kids.
Right.
I did do some research, and I sit on a community coalition that's really focusing on safe spaces for youth. They did recently complete a survey, and it's not public yet, but what I will say is that student survey had some really interesting data. And what it indicated was what I indicated. For some students, school really is a protective factor, and for other students, it's not. And it was pretty split. But I wanted you to know it's on the forefront of my mind, and certainly I have been thinking about it since our last meeting.
Appreciate that.
And then last, I didn't know if anybody had additional questions on any of the legislation coming out of the Child Welfare Special Committee, those 10 bills that we're potentially going to see come down the pike. I think we'll have a lot more information by the end of next week.
I think we're gonna have a lot more information first week in October. We'll reconvene with CCI October 6th. So, we're gonna pick our primary legislative priorities, and then we'll start looking and going over all of those. So I think there's a lot more to come.
Yeah, I do too. I saw Weld County was proposing the high acuity as well, so I thought that was interesting. Certainly let me know if you have any questions on any of those. And then last but not least, thinking about a government shutdown, thanks for Travis for letting me know I don't watch the news. I only stay local. It's a weird thing. But in doing more research, most of our money is federal money. Our MOs, so that money that we give, the state gives to the feds. So SNAP benefits have been issued through October 31st. Medicaid, child support, and child welfare have all been paid in advance for the first quarter. The first quarter starts October 1st. So all of that has gone through. The big piece will be that TANF funding. You know, for the state of Colorado, we get $160 million in TANF funding, and Montezuma County gets an allocation of $1 million. And so I know that there's push to ask Congress to pass something pretty explicit about those TANF monies so that it can remain for the next year or be a short term. Everything that I'm hearing and reading about the potential government shutdown really indicates that essential services would remain, and we'd certainly fall within that category.
Okay,
I'm good. Thank you.
question?
Lori, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you
Thank you,
both.
Kelly. Thank you, Lori.
Appreciate it. All right, next up is our Veteran Services. Mr. LeBeau.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So our monthly report, or I should say my monthly report for August. newsletter. All right, let's see. Permanent salaries, $3,076.92. Fringe benefits, $1,350.92. Operating expenses, $125.06. Public outreach is 0. Telephones 40. Dues, training, and travel 0. Total expenditures, $4,592.90. Let's see, August 2023 office activities. Comparison for August of 2022. In August of 2022, there was 145. Appointments for August of this year, 195, which increased my office activities to a positive 50. Let's see, I had a total of 458 telephone calls, 26 emails, 1 outreach event. Total served 680. New clients, I have 12. New clients year to date is 51. See, no home visits, and I filed 19 claims. Let's see. Claim highlights, decisions, there was 16 decisions. 10 were favorable, 5 unfavorable, and 1 withdrawn. What that means is the veteran withdrew his claim. He didn't want to pursue it anymore. Let's see, so for 2019, claims that are still outstanding, there's 1. For 2020, there's 2. 2021, there is 1. 2022, there's 4. And 2023, there's 8. So out of those 16, that's the breakdown of what year they came from. Confirmed and continued, there's 0. Pending VA claims. 2019 appeals, there's still 1 outstanding. 2020, there is 2 appeals outstanding. 2022, there's still 3 appeals outstanding. And 2022 disabilities, there's two outstanding. And with those 2, they're waiting on exams, and the exams that they're waiting for, they cannot get a professional in that area that they're seeking that exam for. So they're outsourcing to other states. So they're going to have our veterans from Montezuma County travel to Utah, or they even have one set up in California, which is quite a distance for a veteran to travel, but that's what they're looking at right now, because there's just no doctors in the current area that they need to get an evaluation for.
Do you know what the qualifications for that is for those doctors by any chance?
I do not.
Okay.
I do not.
Yeah, is that, I mean. that
I mean,
seems
that's a
kinda odd.
long ways to travel for our guys.
It is, and you know, we had a veteran that halfway there just couldn't make it.
Yeah.
I won't go into details of why, but he came back to my office, and I explained to him, I said, you don't have to travel to California. I said, next time that happens, come in, see me, and I will get in touch with the VA and get this rerouted so it's a lot closer. And I contacted the state VSO about it, and she goes, why in the world is he going to California? Because that's where they set up his exam. She goes, no, that is not feasible at all for any veteran to travel that far.
No.
And I said, I know that, and then I took proactive action with that and got it all rearranged, and he had to go, I believe it was Montrose, which is a lot closer than California, but
Yeah, California. 12 hours probably. Depends on where you're at.
Yeah.
That's a,
So the indirect income that was brought into the county, for payments is $19,615.07. For annual total is $235,380.84. And the new retro payments that was brought into the county, $141,571.16. So that's, and then the back page is just a report I send to VA so they can see what I'm doing in my office. We had to stand down the 16th. Very good event. We had 35 or so vendors, I believe it was, and we've had a total of over 425, I believe it was, of veterans and family members come into the event. It was a big success. Out of those veterans, I seen and my next report will reflect all the details of that event, but I seen approximately 228 of those veterans at my table. And I got a lot set up for appointments at that event. I went ahead and had my office laptop out there, and I set appointments right there on the spot. The veterans are appreciative of what I am doing and my dedication to the office and to the county. And these aren't my words, these are coming from them. They look forward to seeing somebody else in the office because they keep asking me about that. And with that being said, the process on my part for that is complete. So they have a couple of potential candidates to sit in as an administrative assistant. They are going through the process with Sierra National to get them on board. And after they clear the process with Sierra National, which is policies, what their procedures are, how they're going to get paid, their benefits and all that, Sierra National is going over that with them. Then after that's done, they send them to me, and then I interview them and see if they're going to be a good fit for the office. Other than that, that's my full report. Anything?
Does the state, do you get with the state VSO people every now and then and just go over policies and stuff to?
Well, we actually just did that. We had our annual training last week, and part of that training was the procedures of, you know, what we do in our office, what the VA is coming down the pipes with, and how our office is supposed to maintain our accreditation. And so, yeah, we do that twice a year.
Okay.
Spring and fall is when we do that. My office is completely closed. They go over all of our material, how we're supposed to file claims, what new issues are coming up, what new programs that the VA is going to be using. And they're up in the ears right now about the program that I use, VetraSpec. And they're trying to decide if they need to go to a different program or stick with that program because the contract for the VA is currently up and they're still up in the air about what they're going to do. So my main concern, like all the other VSOs, is that if they go to a new program, will all the information that is currently in VetraSpec be transferred over? Or do we have to go in there and do it one by one? And for me to do that, that is going to be a long, drawn-out process, which would delay every claim that I currently have.
yeah, I can't
Going right now.
imagine if they
I can't
did
either.
shift it, it wouldn't be extractable to a different program. That's typically how all of our software.
Right, but
can
the
work.
problem they're having now is the compatibility.
Yeah.
They're trying to work out if the new program is going to be compatible to transfer all that information, because you're talking hundreds of thousands of veterans throughout the state that is going to have to be transferred.
And all the security procedures too.
exactly, for HIPAA and everything else. You know, so it's gonna be a long process. I'll keep Travis updated and of course you guys updated on which way that procedure goes. Hopefully it's a positive thing and
Yeah.
I don't have to sit there and close my office to get everything entered back into the system, which is gonna be a nightmare. I mean, I'm backing it up currently on the network with local folders for all the veterans, but if that's gonna be compatible, that's something we'll have to wait to see. Anything else?
No, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Have a great day.
Thanks, you too.
All right, our Director of MOCO and Senior Services, Miss Jennifer.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So we'll start with MOCO. We did 876 rides for August. We also have finally got the approval on the new vehicle from, 2 years ago. So we should be getting the contract pretty soon, and I can send that to Ian and then hopefully get that signed and get that going. I also received 3 proposals for the feasibility studies. So I'm going to see if I can get on the agenda for next week to look at those and, make a decision on those.
Bring us a recommendation. So we have 3?
We have 3.
Good.
Yep, so. And then, so for the senior center, I'm in contact with Bentley about our insurance and whether or not it covers the food if like the USDA food, if something happens and it gets ruined or stolen or whatever. And so I'm trying to get that. We are actually suspended, I guess, because they told us we had till the 30th, and now they told us we had till the 18th, and I was out on training. So I will let them know that, we're doing that, but Bentley's looking into it right now, so hopefully that'll be taken care of today. Because we do have 90 people on the list for our senior boxes, so that's quite a few. And then our, the commodities giveaway out at the fairgrounds is huge too, usually, so hopefully we can get that taken care of pretty quick. I did go to CASTA, the transit conference, and I took the PASS class, which is Passenger Assistance Safety and Sensitivity. Try saying that a couple of times fast. The Train the Trainer class. So I am now certified to train my drivers on that class, and basically it's for wheelchair accessibility. It's ADA, basically. It's just, so I will be training them the 16th and 17th of October so that they will be up to speed on that. I've never been to it, and so nobody else really had either. They haven't had, of course, COVID, was big, so really didn't get a whole lot of training. I also am certified in defensive driving, so I'm also training my drivers for defensive driving on the 17th. So we'll get all our training done that's required, and then we should be good for a year or 2. So other than that, things are going good. I'm figuring things out at the senior center and trying to get that, get the paperwork at least in order for now and try to get that, so we don't have any issues going forward. So any questions?
None.
I have none.
Okay, I will get on the schedule for next week to try to
Okay.
get those proposals.
Sounds good. Thanks,
Thank you.
Jennifer.
Thank you.
All right. Jumping back into our unfinished business, we'll go back to number 1. We had a presentation as far as a strategic planning proposal. Gentlemen, you guys have all had the opportunity to look at it. It was presented yesterday. And this wouldn't start until 2024 if we decide to move forward with it. So with that, I'm going to open it up for comments or a decision. And we don't have to make a decision on this today either. It's not, there's nothing
I think-
urgent.
I think we should wait and table it and look at it more before we make a decision on this myself.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
don't,
I think we should wait and see what our budget's gonna do, see what Proposition HH, and I know we've got, it's in there, but let's just give it, let's see what the next 30, 45 days shakes out.
Okay. Why don't you put it about 45 days out, Travis, and we'll look at it then. All right, we'll bypass that at this point in time. And we're gonna go down to the decision regarding the Southern Health Partners contract as it references the jail. Ian, I'll let you give us anything else other than what we discussed yesterday.
Yeah, there's really nothing additional to add. We talked about the increased costs, and so this is just for Southern Health Partners to provide our healthcare, day-to-day healthcare services at the jail. And they provide nursing services and administer medications and really just take care of that day-to-day stuff. And so we did use them during this year. We signed a contract with them prior to this year, and my understanding is that the sheriff was pleased. Obviously, the costs have gone up. I believe it's about a 3% increase for this year. And so really at this point, it's up to you guys whether you want to re-up for 2024.
Okay.
I would so move we accept the Southern Health Partners contract for the year 2024.
second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to accept the Southern Health Partners contract for the jail of Montezuma County as presented for 2024. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, then we have a resolution supporting the Paso Mesa Verde Trail project. Let me sign that one.
Yeah.
This will be 22.
Yeah, it would be 22.
You guys okay with
You
this?
bet. Yeah.
I move to approve Resolution 20-2023, resolution in support of the Paso Mesa Verde Trail Project.
Second.
And this was presented last week by James Dietrich Force. He said that he would have it for us, the resolution this week. So this is basically what we are talking about in support of this resolution. So it's been moved and seconded to accept resolution number 2023, a resolution in support of the Paso Mesa Verde Trail Project and the CPW non-motorized trail grant. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. We also had presented to us yesterday in our workshop an LOS, a letter of support for the Lamb building. Basically does not tie the county to any fiduciary responsibility. It's nothing more than a letter of support, basically for a roof project and installation of a new roof. I see Mr. Dietrich walking in, Central Center for a grant request for the Lamb house or Lamb building. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, and now the decision as it relates to the gravel that was donated to the fairgrounds, we're gonna pull off. And then that'll come back to us next week. And we are going to go to a decision as it relates to the road impact fee transfer to the road department. So as things are developed in the county, we collect impact fees. And they are typically used within a 5-mile radius of where the fees are collected from. Doug, Rob, the whole staffs of the county have put this together, basically so that you know if you paid an impact fee, where it went, how much was paid, the year it was collected, and where the physical addresses were of the collection, and then the map shows where the improvements to those roads have been done. At this point in time, they're requesting a transfer of $546,000, 992.78, and that's basically the nuts and bolts of that one. As presented in our workshop yesterday. Any questions?
No.
Okay. I move to approve order number 2-2023, a transfer of $546,992.78 from the road impact fees to the road and bridge to reflect the road impact fees collected.
Second.
It's been moved in seconded to transfer per order number 2, 2023, in the amount of $546,992.78 from the road impact fee fund to the road and bridge to reflect the road impact fees collected that were used in 2022. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Now down to Mr. Dietrich. More department reports here.
Morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
So it sounds like we've already covered the letter for the roof, and I believe we've already got the resolution for the Paso Mesa Verde covered. Okay. Also been continuing to work with the Southwest Colorado CFLRP and the Dwarf Working Collaborative. Basically, we're continuing to advocate for projects here in Montezuma County. The group has decided to prepare kind of an after-action review based on whatever all the stuff that happened surrounding the Salter Y litigation. We're really just trying to learn from that, where the collaborative went wrong with that, because the objective of the collaborative is really to avoid this kind of litigation. So just trying to figure out ways that we can get these parties together a little bit better on the front end to make sure that we kind of avoid this in the future if possible. No guarantees, of course, on that, how collaboratives work, but I don't see any other alternative going forward with this other than remain engaged with all the stakeholders and try to work through the issues on that. Whether or not we can actually get some kind of resolution before it actually hits the court system is unknown at this time, but we'll continue to try. So also have been attending the BLM Gunnison Sage Grouse Resource Management Plan Amendment and also the Big Game Resource Management Plan Amendment. So right now, we're at a point where they've prepared the draft EIS, and what they're going to do is try to schedule public comments and future meetings on that. They're planning to release that draft to the public in November. Right now, they're scheduling it for November 10th. It may or may not hit that date, but it should be around that time frame. And after that, they'll begin drafting the biological assessment for the Fish and Wildlife consultation on that. So it's going to be a continuing process on this, and I imagine at least another year of work on this based on what the schedule they've shown us. Paso Mesa Verde, the right-of-way plan on Segment A is coming together on that. We're down to one parcel. We have not been able to get much of a response out of this individual, but it is not a critical parcel. I think we've got ways around it. So it'd be ideal to get it, and we'll keep working on it, but certainly not critical. So at this juncture, we'll begin working through developing a more formalized right-of-way plan for all the folks that we've visited with and are supportive. So that will be the next step on Segment A. Segment B, of course, we're working through the final environmental on that, and I feel like that one is right at the cusp of being able to be called shovel-ready. So we'll continue to try to finalize all the loose ends on that. And then, of course, Segment C and D, we're kind of in a holding pattern with CFL on that. Although we do have the grant that is in process for that, and again, that should be ready by Friday for submission. So, and I guess that concludes my report for the day.
All right, thank you.
Question? No? All right, thank you, James.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Appreciate it. Ian, you're up.
Yeah, so I've got a few updates on our Ironwood case. We did receive a check yesterday from Ironwood for $3,750. That's for the week prior that they remain in violation of the stipulated injunction. And so we continue to receive those fines, and those fines will continue for the next 16 weeks, at which point then there's incremental increases every month. We also, I'm working on a response. Ironwood did file a motion to dismiss the injunction. The response deadline for that is October 6th, so I'm working on that, and CDPHE will also be chiming in on that response. A lot of the arguments that were made in that motion were similar arguments to what were made at the hearing a couple weeks ago for the imposition of sanctions. To be quite honest, I'm not real. I'm fairly confident the injunction's not going to be dismissed. The arguments that were made were not especially convincing. So there was an argument that the signatures were made under duress. There were arguments that there was an impossibility argument. But all in all, I think that we can develop a good response and ensure that that injunction remains in place. Last night, or late yesterday afternoon, Ironwood filed a motion to dismiss Wade Bentley from the contempt and the action. And the basis for that was that Wade Bentley, the argument was that Wade Bentley was not an owner-operator as contemplated by the Solid Waste Act. And the argument that was forwarded was, in essence, Wade Bentley was only taking orders. He had no authority to do anything. He was not responsible for the accumulation of the chips. He was just a pawn. Generally speaking, there would be 21 days to respond to a motion like that. I was in communication even last night with CDPHE's attorney and even during the meeting this morning, and just about 15 minutes ago, I see that the court issued an order dismissing Wade Bentley. I think for strategic reasons and for practical reasons, I think that it probably makes sense to file a motion for reconsideration of that order. So I'm going to reach out to CDPHE. Certainly, if you guys have any objection to that kind of filing, let me know now. But certainly under the Solid Waste Act, I think that there's a good argument to be made that Wade Bentley was an operator. And I think to dismiss him from the action at this point is inappropriate. And so, certainly we'll work on a response unless you guys have any thoughts to the contrary. I think that this is something that the court needs to allow CDPHE and the county to respond to, and I think that there's no reason, there's no disadvantage to filing a motion for reconsideration.
I agree.
Question? He's been our contact, and I thought he did represent himself as.
He certainly has been a point of contact for the county, and he has also represented at various points in time that he has decision-making authority. Yeah. Certainly what he's doing down there in terms of hiring contractors previously seems to put him into the operator category under the Solid Waste Act. Now, his dismissal from the action, ultimately, we still have the owner of Ironwood named individually, and we have the company named. And so, Mr. Bentley's dismissal is not necessarily fatal to the action. There's still assets to go after, certain. But that being said, certainly seems as if he falls under the definition of operator. The other thing that I had to report, we did have an employee some time ago that filed a request for a right to sue letter with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. That right to sue letter was granted, and the deadline for filing suit under state law claims or Title VII was September 21st of 2023. Nothing has been filed there, and so at this point, That deadline has passed, so we're not going to face a discrimination lawsuit. It doesn't mean that other claims under some other theory couldn't be filed, but I think that they're unlikely, and so that matter now is dead.
Closed, good.
Yep. That's all I have to report.
All right, very good. Thank you. Good work on that, Ian. All right, Travis.
So I guess before we get started with my highlights, gentlemen got my update. Is there any questions that you have before I start?
No.
Other than I think CCI is going through some changes, transitions. They did hire a new executive director, which most of your report related to the meeting that was held on Friday. And they've lost some personnel also, so it's gonna be an interesting legislative session coming up as we get going, but no, other than that, I have nothing.
Okay, so starting to work on the issues for a public safety sales tax. Met with League of Women Voters. We're going to be setting up a Zoom meeting with some contacts in Jefferson County. Reached out to Mesa County and Montrose County and got their information. We'll be following up with B1 Recycling. They're wanting to develop a program at the landfill, so we'll be having a Zoom meeting with them on different recycling projects. Was able to attend the Fair Board meeting. It sounds like they're headed down the right path on trying to fix some rules and finance stuff. So that was a good meeting. Had Proposition 123 cleanup meeting. Also went to the Colorado Oil and Natural Gas meeting. Sounds like there's some more regulations coming down the pike and for Kinder Morgan, but doesn't sound like it's going to be too significant. Attended a dispatch meeting on Thursday. Their logger system and phone system, they're just waiting for an engineer to come in. So that's been pushed back until next year. Again, they're just waiting for engineers, and just like everybody else, everybody's looking for help. Then attended the CCI Zoom meeting. They talked about open landfill funding, and some good information come out on that. Hopefully get CDPHE and DOLA to start helping out with opening new cells or opening new landfills. Talked about authorizing better county tax. Obviously, our revenues are in flux, so they're trying to get the commissioners on board at the onset versus the back end. So that was good. The other two was the district attorney funding and the county courthouse funding. Good discussions on those. I'm not sure how far they're going to go. I guess my question to the commissioners is when it comes up is, or just a suggestion, if they provide for county courthouse funding, that they also try to assist counties with maintenance and utility costs. So that's just a request. And then the last thing that I have is our August financials. So general fund total was $1,017,914.19. Road and bridge fund, $1,015,397.08. Public health, $170,262.67. Capital fund, $38,580.06. Administration fund, $3,008.88. Landfill, $77,499.06. Check register total was $2,322,661.94. Social services, $1,321,311.50, with a total of $3,643,973.44.
Any questions, gentlemen? Okay,
So move, we approve the August financials in the amount of $3,643,973.44.
Second.
it's been moved and seconded to accept the payables for August 31st, 2023 in the amount of $3,643,973.44. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, to my left, Commissioner Copenhaver.
I really don't have much to report this this week. I was busy chopping silage and taking care of some of my own personal things this week, and other than a few phone calls, I didn't have much going on this week, so that's about all I have to report.
All right, Commissioner.
Yeah, I don't have much to report. I did attend a meet and greet last night with the new CEO of the hospital. I think there's 2 others coming up. If you get a chance, go ahead and stop by and visit with this gentleman. Seems quite aggressive at what he's going to do at the hospital, so I guess that might be a good term to use. But other than that, city council tonight, I'm gonna zoom into that tonight.
Okay, very good. All right, mine was somewhat short also. I did miss the grand opening of Access. It was from 5 to 6 p.m. I did make it to the last party in the park, had a lot of discussions with people there. It's grown into a lot bigger event than I could have ever imagined. They actually have Montezuma shut off now from, I think, the alleyway in between Chestnut and Market. It's just expanded.
Yeah.
But that was the last one for the party in the park. We had a ton of conversations over a variety of things and issues. And then had a quiet weekend, which was enjoyable. We had our workshop yesterday, which we've discussed and made decisions today on everything that was presented. Went to the Dolores Town Hall meeting last night. They continue to wrestle with some of their ordinances as far as it relates to weeds, buildings, so on and so forth, as far as trying to clean up the town. Updated them on the Ironwood case, and that was pretty much it. And that's all I have to report, gentlemen. Anything else?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to adjourn this September 26th meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.